The problem with the world is that the intelligent people are full of doubts, while the stupid ones are full of confidence. Charles Bukowski. Confidence isn't about being loud, arrogant, or acting like you have all the answers. True confidence is quiet, controlled, and unshakable. The Stoics understood that confidence comes from mastery over oneself, over desires, fears, and emotions. Women aren't drawn to men who fake confidence, they're drawn to men who embody it effortlessly. And today, you're going to learn the 7 things confident men do that women absolutely love. Watch till the end because every single one of these will change how women see you, whether they admit it or not. Like the video, subscribe, and drop a comment if you've experienced this in your own life. Let's get into it. Chapter 1. Be masculine. Masculinity isn't about trying to act tough, pretending to be dominant, or putting on an aggressive front. It's not about lifting the heaviest weights in the gym or talking the loudest in the room. Real masculinity is about something much deeper. It's about embodying strength in every sense of the word. Physical strength, yes, but more importantly, mental strength, emotional control, discipline, leadership, and self-respect. A confident man doesn't need to prove his masculinity because it's ingrained in how he carries himself. His presence alone makes it clear. A man who has control over his emotions instead of being controlled by them commands immediate respect. When things go wrong, he doesn't panic. When life throws challenges at him, he doesn't crumble. He adapts. When someone disrespects him, he doesn't react emotionally like a child throwing a tantrum. He calculates his response with precision. This kind of man doesn't need validation from others, and that's exactly why women gravitate toward him. His calm, composed energy makes women feel safe because they instinctively know he won't break under pressure. His stability is a rare commodity in a world where many men seek external approval instead of building internal strength. Women are naturally drawn to strong men, not just physically, but psychologically. They don't want a man who crumbles under stress, complains about his problems like a victim, or constantly seeks reassurance. That kind of weakness is a repellent. Women want a man who stands firm no matter what happens. A man who is in control of himself, who doesn't let emotions dictate his actions, and who can remain steady even when chaos surrounds him. His ability to navigate through difficulties without losing his sense of self is what separates him from the rest. Now, this doesn't mean shutting off all emotions or pretending to be a robot. That's not strength, that's just suppression, and it will eventually break you. True masculinity isn't about being emotionless, it's about being emotionally strong. It means having emotions but not letting them control you. It means being passionate without being reckless. It means being caring without being needy. It means knowing when to be firm, when to be gentle, and when to walk away from what doesn't serve you. Think of a warrior standing on a battlefield. He doesn't flinch when arrows fly past him. He doesn't break down when faced with overwhelming odds. He stands his ground, fully aware, completely present, and absolutely focused. His confidence comes from preparation, from experience, and from knowing exactly who he is. That's true masculinity. And women can sense it instantly. They don't just see it, they feel it in your presence, in your movements, and in the way you carry yourself. Masculinity is also about having a purpose. A man without direction is a man without strength. If you're aimless, if you're floating through life without a mission, you will never command respect. Women are naturally drawn to men who have a sense of purpose, who are building something, who are striving toward a goal bigger than themselves. A man with a mission doesn't seek validation from women because he doesn't need it. His fulfillment comes from his own journey. And ironically, this is what makes him so attractive. The more he focuses on his path, the more women are drawn to him. Every decision you make, every habit you build, and every reaction you have to the world either strengthens or weakens your masculinity. If you constantly seek approval, if you bend to every demand, if you lack boundaries, you are giving away your power. A truly masculine man sets his own standards and lives by them. He does not chase approval, he attracts respect. He does not try to impress, he naturally commands attention through his actions. Women do not fall for men who talk about being masculine. They fall for men who embody it. The way you move, the way you speak, the way you handle challenges, all of it signals to a woman whether you are a man who stands firm or a man who bends under pressure. A truly masculine man is unshakable. He doesn't need to tell people he is strong, they already know just by being around him. Masculinity is also about leadership. A man who can lead with confidence, make decisions, and take responsibility is deeply attractive. Leadership isn't about controlling others, it's about guiding, inspiring, and setting an example. A masculine man doesn't shy away from responsibility, he embraces it. He doesn't blame others for his failures, he owns them, learns from them, and grows stronger. This level of accountability is rare, and it sets truly strong men apart from the rest. Confidence is another crucial pillar of masculinity. Confidence isn't arrogance, it's certainty. It's knowing who you are and what you stand for. It's moving through life with an unshakable belief in yourself, even when others doubt you. Confidence isn't about faking strength, it's about actually being strong. And the only way to build real confidence is through action. By consistently pushing yourself, improving yourself, and proving to yourself that you are capable, you naturally develop a presence that others respect. Lastly, masculinity is about self-respect. A man who respects himself never allows himself to be treated as an option. He doesn't tolerate disrespect, he doesn't beg for attention, and he doesn't settle for less than he deserves. Self-respect means holding yourself to high standards in every aspect of life, your health, your relationships, your goals, and your mindset. When you respect yourself, others have no choice but to respect you as well. So what does it mean to be masculine? It means having a solid foundation of strength, physically, mentally, and emotionally. It means being in control of your emotions instead of being controlled by them. It means having a mission, a purpose, and a sense of direction. It means standing firm in your beliefs, leading with confidence, and carrying yourself with a quiet, undeniable strength. Masculinity isn't about trying to prove anything, it's about becoming a man so strong, so centered, and so self-assured that no one can ignore it. Be the kind of man whose presence alone commands respect. The kind of man who doesn't need to prove his masculinity because his actions already say everything that needs to be said. Chapter 2. Be direct, make her feel safe and secure. Confident men don't play games. They don't send mixed signals, hesitate, or second-guess themselves. They say what they mean and mean what they say. And this is one of the most attractive traits a man can have. A woman wants to feel secure in a man's presence. Not just physically, but emotionally and psychologically. And security comes from certainty. When a man is clear about what he wants, how he feels, and where he's going, it removes all the uncertainty and anxiety that most women feel when dealing with weak, indecisive men. Weak men hesitate. They're afraid to say the wrong thing, afraid to offend, afraid to take action. Their entire energy is full of doubt, and that doubt kills attraction instantly. Women don't want a guy who constantly looks for validation, waits for permission, or dances around his words like he's walking on eggshells. They want a man who knows exactly what he wants and isn't afraid to go after it. Being direct isn't about being rude, aggressive, or forceful. It's about clarity and confidence. There's a difference between being an arrogant jerk and being a direct, self-assured man. A confident man expresses himself without hesitation, but he does it with control and presence. If you like a woman, tell her. If you want to take her out, say it without hesitation. If you're not interested in something, don't dance around the issue, be honest. When you do this, you instantly set yourself apart from the countless men who play mind games, overthink every interaction, or try too hard to say the right thing. The truth is, women don't want to guess what you're thinking. They don't want to decode your texts, analyze your behavior, or try to figure out if you're actually interested in them or just scared to make a move. The moment a woman sees that you're firm in your words and actions, she will feel safe around you. Because a man who is sure of himself makes a woman feel secure in his presence. But here's the trick, being direct isn't just about what you say. It's also about how you say it. A man who speaks with confidence doesn't mumble, doesn't look away, and doesn't fill his sentences with hesitation or uncertainty. He speaks with conviction, maintains steady eye contact, and delivers his words with calm, controlled energy. He doesn't rush his words or over-explain. He says exactly what he means and lets his presence do the rest. Most men think attraction is about saying the perfect thing. It's not. It's about saying what you mean with certainty. Women trust men who are sure of themselves. If you can communicate with clarity and confidence, you don't need to chase women, they will naturally be drawn to you. The next time you're talking to a woman, pay attention to how you speak. Do you hesitate? Do you soften your words to avoid rejection? Do you try too hard to be likable instead of just being honest? If so, stop immediately. Be direct, be firm, and watch how the entire dynamic shifts. Chapter 3. Have a purpose. A man without a purpose is like a ship without a destination. He drifts aimlessly, carried by the tides of life, never in control, never truly going anywhere. He is reactive rather than proactive, constantly waiting for circumstances to dictate his path instead of taking charge of his own destiny. And nothing is more unattractive than a man who has no direction, no ambition, and no sense of mission. Women, and people in general, are instinctively drawn to men who are driven by something bigger than themselves, men who wake up every day with a fire inside them, men who don't just exist but move with intention and purpose. Confident men don't waste their lives chasing women because they understand that women are not the mission. Their purpose is what defines them, not the attention or validation of others. They are focused on building something meaningful, something that gives their life a sense of fulfillment. Women respect men who have built something for themselves, whether it's their career, their body, their skills, or their mindset. A man who is deeply committed to a personal mission has an energy that pulls people in, an unshakable presence that says, "I know who I am and where I'm going." That level of certainty is rare, and it is undeniably attractive. Your purpose isn't about impressing others. It isn't about showing off or proving your worth to society. It's about finding something that fuels you, something that gives your life depth and meaning. It could be your business, your craft, your fitness, your creative expression, whatever it is, it must be something that drives you to be better every single day. It should be something that, even if no one else acknowledged or appreciated it, you would still dedicate yourself to because it genuinely matters to you. Why is this so important? Because when a man is obsessed with his purpose, he becomes naturally attractive. He radiates confidence, passion, and focus, qualities that women find irresistible. A man on a mission doesn't waste time begging for attention, doesn't crumble over rejection, and doesn't seek approval. His energy is undeniable, and that energy draws people toward him like gravity. He doesn't need to chase, his sheer presence commands respect and admiration. Women want to be part of a man's world that is already moving forward. They don't want to be your sole focus or the reason you wake up in the morning. They want to admire you, be inspired by you, and feel like they are accompanying a man who is already on a path to greatness. This is why women respect and chase men who are fully dedicated to something outside of them. When a man has a vision, a goal, or a burning desire to achieve something, it becomes a force that others are naturally drawn to. The most powerful and attractive men in history weren't running around trying to get validation from women. They were too busy shaping the world around them. Weak men, on the other hand, make women their purpose. They revolve their entire existence around trying to win female attention, bending over backward to please, and making relationships their only ambition. This is a fatal mistake. A man who prioritizes a woman over his own mission loses her respect because deep down she knows he is not a leader, not a builder, not a man who truly owns his life. Instead of being someone she admires and respects, he becomes someone she tolerates until she finds a man who does have a mission. A man without purpose becomes needy. He clings to relationships because he has nothing else anchoring him. He becomes desperate for validation, for approval, for someone else to give him meaning. And that desperation is repelling. Women may be flattered by the attention at first, but over time they lose attraction to a man who lacks drive. On the other hand, a man with purpose does not seek validation because he is too busy validating himself through his work, his goals, and his continuous self-improvement. Confident men do the opposite. They stay committed to their path, and in doing so, they naturally attract women without even trying. They don't put women on a pedestal, they invite them into their world, a world that is already in motion. And women admire and crave men like this because it is rare. Most men waste their energy in pursuit of fleeting validation, while only a few dedicate themselves to something meaningful. Those few stand out, and they become the ones that women chase. Think of the men you admire most. Are they men who spend their days trying to impress others, or are they men who are relentlessly focused on their mission? Great men are remembered not because of the relationships they had, but because of what they built, what they stood for, and how they shaped the world. The legacy of a man is not in how many women he has dated, but in the impact he has made. That is why purpose is everything. So ask yourself, what are you chasing in life? Are you moving forward with purpose, or are you floating through life, hoping that a woman will give you direction? If you want to command respect, admiration, and attraction, stop making women the center of your world. Make your purpose the center and watch how everything, including women, starts chasing you. When you live with purpose, you become a force to be reckoned with. You become the kind of man who does not need to chase because the world will naturally gravitate toward you. And the best part? When you truly embrace this mindset, when you dedicate yourself to something greater than yourself, you will find a sense of fulfillment that no external validation can provide. You will wake up every morning knowing that you are working towards something meaningful. You will have an internal sense of direction that no rejection, no setback, and no temporary failure can shake. A man with purpose is unstoppable. He is not easily swayed by distractions, and he does not waste time on things that do not align with his mission. He stands tall, unshaken, and completely in control of his own destiny. That is the kind of man the world admires. That is the kind of man women respect. And most importantly, that is the kind of man who lives a life worth living. Chapter 4. Master your body language. Most men think attraction is all about what they say, the perfect pickup line, the clever joke, the right compliment at the right time. But confident men know that words are secondary. What truly matters is how you move, how you carry yourself, and the energy you project before you even open your mouth. A woman can feel your confidence or your insecurity just by looking at you. Your body language tells her everything she needs to know about whether you are strong, weak, nervous, or completely at ease in your own skin. It speaks louder than any words ever could. Strong eye contact signals confidence and dominance. It shows that you are present, that you're comfortable in your own skin, and that you aren't afraid of the moment. A man who can hold eye contact without flinching, without darting his gaze around the room, instantly commands respect. But a man who constantly looks away, avoids direct eye contact, or stares at the ground gives off one message: weakness. Women instinctively recognize this. If you can't even look her in the eyes without hesitation, how will you handle bigger challenges in life? Posture is another silent but powerful indicator of confidence. A man who stands tall, shoulders back, and chest slightly expanded radiates an aura of strength. He takes up space, moves with purpose, and never shrinks himself down. A weak man, on the other hand, slouches, hunches his shoulders, and moves as if he's trying to make himself smaller, as if he's waiting for permission to exist. Women notice this immediately. They aren't consciously analyzing your posture, but they feel the difference. The way you move is just as important. A confident man doesn't fidget, rush, or act like he's in a constant state of nervous energy. He moves slowly and deliberately. Every motion is controlled, intentional, and powerful. When he walks into a room, he owns his space. He doesn't shuffle his feet awkwardly or make jittery movements. He moves as if he belongs, as if he has nothing to prove. And that's exactly why people respect him. Charisma isn't about being the loudest voice in the room. It's not about talking more or being the center of attention. True charisma comes from commanding attention without even trying. It's the way you sit, the way you lean in when you speak, the way you hold a moment of silence before responding. It's the way you stay relaxed under pressure instead of overreacting. Women pick up on these subtle cues instantly. Before you even say a word, they have already felt your presence. And that presence is either one of strength or weakness, confidence or doubt, control or insecurity. Confidence isn't about being the loudest guy in the room, telling the best jokes, or trying too hard to impress people. It's about being unshakable in your presence. When you master your body language, you don't have to say much at all. Women will already know exactly what kind of man you are. Chapter 5. Stay calm under pressure. A confident man never lets his emotions control him. He doesn't crumble under stress, panic when things go wrong, or react impulsively when provoked. Instead, he remains composed. He assesses the situation with a clear mind, and he responds instead of reacting. This ability to stay calm under pressure is one of the most powerful traits a man can develop, and women notice it immediately. Imagine two men in a high-stress situation. One loses his temper, lashes out, and lets frustration take over. The other remains calm, collected, and in control, making clear-headed decisions while everyone else spirals into chaos. Which one do you think women, and everyone around them, respect more? It's always the man who keeps his cool. Because calmness signals strength, and strength is attractive. Women are naturally drawn to men who remain composed no matter what happens. Why? Because life is unpredictable. There will always be challenges, conflicts, and moments of high tension. If you can stay steady while the world around you is unstable, she knows she can trust you in any situation. Whether it's a heated argument, a financial crisis, or a life-or-death emergency, a man who doesn't let his emotions take control is a man women feel safe around. This is why Stoicism is so powerful. Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, Epictetus, all of them understood that true strength comes from mastering the mind. They knew that no external event has power over a man unless he allows it to. And because of this, they ruled with wisdom, discipline, and clarity rather than being led by impulse or emotion. A weak man overreacts. He lets anger dictate his actions. He becomes frustrated over small inconveniences. He panics in moments of uncertainty. And when a woman sees this behavior, she instinctively loses respect. Because if he can't even control himself, How can he possibly handle the challenges of life? On the other hand, a man who stays calm under pressure commands instant respect. He doesn't let criticism shake him, he doesn't let other people's emotions dictate his state, and he certainly doesn't let small inconveniences ruin his mood. He is unshakable. This is the kind of man people look up to, the kind of man women admire, and the kind of man who wins, not just in relationships, but in life. The next time you find yourself in a stressful situation, pause. Take a deep breath. Slow down. Instead of reacting emotionally, observe the situation as if you are an outsider. Ask yourself, what would a strong man do right now? What would a king do? Then, act with control. Because real confidence isn't about showing off, talking big, or being the loudest in the room. It's about remaining composed when the pressure is at its highest. A man who can do that becomes the kind of man everyone respects and the kind of man women can't resist. Chapter 6. Walk away when necessary. A confident man never chases. He never begs for attention. And most importantly, he walks away when he knows something isn't right. This isn't about being cold or heartless, it's about self-respect. A man who truly values himself refuses to stay in situations that drain his energy, disrespect his worth, or compromise his happiness. He understands that clinging to the wrong people, whether in relationships, friendships, or business, only weakens him. Instead, he moves through life with the belief that if something isn't meant for him, he won't force it. He lets go, not because he doesn't care, but because he knows his own value. Weak men, on the other hand, do the exact opposite. They hold on to toxic relationships, refusing to accept the reality that they deserve better. They ignore the red flags, make excuses for bad behavior, and convince themselves that things will eventually change. They believe that if they just try harder, if they just prove their worth, then maybe, just maybe, the other person will start treating them better. But this is an illusion, a dangerous trap that leads to self-destruction. No amount of effort can make the wrong person love or respect you the way you deserve. By staying in these situations, they slowly erode their own confidence, allowing themselves to be treated as an option rather than a priority. And the longer they stay, the harder it becomes to walk away. A confident man understands this fundamental truth. Forcing something that isn't meant for him is a waste of time and energy. Instead of trying to make people see his worth, he focuses on surrounding himself with those who already do. When he recognizes that a situation is unhealthy, he doesn't argue, he doesn't fight, and he certainly doesn't beg. He simply removes himself. He doesn't waste his breath trying to convince someone to appreciate him, because he knows that real appreciation can't be forced. He knows that love, respect, and loyalty should be freely given, not extracted through manipulation, pleading, or sacrifice. And so, he walks away, not out of anger, but out of wisdom. The act of walking away isn't about playing games or making a dramatic exit. It's about setting a standard. It's about showing yourself and the world that you refuse to settle for anything less than what you deserve. And ironically, this is exactly what makes a man so attractive. Women are naturally drawn to men who have the strength to walk away from what doesn't serve them. Why? Because it signals that he isn't desperate. He isn't looking for validation. He isn't willing to lower his standards just to keep someone around. And that kind of energy is powerful. It is rare. It is magnetic. When a man doesn't chase, he creates an air of mystery. He forces people to meet him at his level rather than lowering himself to meet theirs. And this shifts the dynamic entirely. The men who constantly chase, who beg for love, who try to prove their worth, they become less desirable. Their desperation is repelling, their neediness unattractive. But the man who can turn his back and walk away? He becomes irresistible. His silence, his calmness, his unwavering self-respect, it speaks louder than any words ever could. And this doesn't just apply to relationships. A confident man walks away from anything that isn't aligned with his values. He doesn't stay in friendships that drain him. He doesn't tolerate jobs that make him miserable. He doesn't allow negative people to linger in his life. He knows when to let go, when to close doors, when to move forward without looking back. And every time he does, he reinforces his self-worth. He tells himself, "I deserve better," and by acting on that belief, he strengthens his confidence. He builds an unshakable foundation of self-respect that carries him through life. The moment you stop chasing is the moment you start attracting. The second you walk away from what isn't serving you, you make room for something better. When you set a higher standard for yourself, others will either rise to meet it or fade away. And either outcome is a win. The people who truly value you will step up. The ones who don't will disappear. But you will never lose. Because choosing yourself, choosing your happiness, your peace, your self-worth, that is always a victory. Walking away isn't weakness. It's not about giving up. It's about choosing yourself over situations that no longer align with who you are or where you're going. It's about having the courage to say, "This is not for me," and stepping into the unknown with confidence. Because when you walk away from the wrong things, you create space for the right ones to find you. And that is the real power of a man who knows his worth. Chapter 7. Never try to impress. The ultimate sign of confidence? Not trying too hard. Think about the men who truly stand out, the ones who command attention effortlessly. They don't do it by boasting about their achievements, flashing expensive watches, or trying to dominate every conversation. No, their power lies in their ability to remain calm, centered, and unaffected by external validation. They know that real confidence doesn't come from others' approval, it comes from within. A man who is truly confident doesn't need to seek approval. He doesn't overcompensate by exaggerating his success or pretending to be someone he's not. Instead, he carries himself with quiet assurance, knowing that his value isn't determined by others' opinions. He understands that true confidence isn't about proving something to the world, it's about being at peace with who he is. The moment you try too hard to impress, you send the message that you're insecure. It's a paradox. The more effort you put into making people admire you, the less impressive you become. Why? Because people can sense desperation. It's like a cologne that lingers in the air, overpowering, suffocating, and ultimately repelling. You might think that listing all your accomplishments, dropping hints about your wealth, or constantly seeking validation will make you more attractive. But in reality, it does the opposite. It signals that you're unsure of yourself. Confidence isn't about forcing admiration, it's about naturally inspiring it. And inspiration doesn't come from effort, it comes from authenticity. Look at the men who naturally draw people in. They don't need to be the loudest in the room. They don't need to remind everyone of their success. They simply exist in their power, and that's enough. When a man doesn't try to prove himself, he instantly commands respect. His presence alone speaks volumes. People are drawn to his energy because it feels genuine. He doesn't need to say, "Look at me, I'm important." His actions, demeanor, and attitude already make that clear. The difference between someone who seeks validation and someone who radiates confidence is simple. One is trying to be liked, while the other simply exists in his power. And ironically, the man who isn't chasing approval is the one who gets it effortlessly. Women are naturally drawn to this kind of man because he exudes strength, stability, and self-assurance. He doesn't need to convince anyone of his worth because he already knows it. This is why you often see women gravitate toward men who seem completely unfazed by their presence. It's not arrogance, it's assurance. It's the quiet belief that I don't need to impress you, and that's exactly why you're impressed. Women don't want a man who is desperate for their attention. They want a man who is so complete in himself that he doesn't need external validation. Mastering this mindset takes time and self-awareness. It requires letting go of the need for external approval and embracing who you are at your core. That once you do, everything changes. Women will feel the difference. They'll be drawn to you in a way that's deeper than just surface-level attraction. They'll admire your confidence, your authenticity, and your ability to stand strong in your own identity. But this mindset isn't just about women, it's about how the world perceives you. Think about successful men in business, in leadership, in social circles. The ones who carry themselves with quiet confidence are the ones people naturally respect. They don't beg for attention, they don't chase approval, and yet everyone notices them. There's a reason the phrase "less is more" exists. The more you try to impress, the more you actually push people away. But the moment you relax into who you are, when you stop needing to prove yourself, the right people will naturally be drawn to you. So stop trying to impress. Stop seeking validation. Instead, focus on becoming the kind of man who doesn't need to. When you do that, the right people, especially the right women, will be drawn to you naturally. Confidence isn't about what you do, it's about what you don't do. And a man who understands that will always stand out. Every confident man understands this. Confidence isn't about what you do, it's about who you are. Master these 7 traits, and you'll never have to chase the woman again. Drop a comment below. What's the most confident thing you've ever done? Like the video, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.